Hello, everyone, and welcome to my summer tarot party. My name's Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl, and I can't wait to chat about tarot with you. So, I have so much that I want to share with you. I actually wrote it all down on a piece of paper. So, I'm going to start by doing a little bit of a show and tell. I've got four new decks that I want to show you and talk about. So, I'm going to do that. And then I want to pull a card for the month ahead because September is coming up. And I don't know about you, but for me, September always feels kind of like January in that it feels like kind of like the new year. Like, and I guess it's just from years of being in school and September being kind of like the back to school month. I always feel like September is this chance for a fresh start. Um, and I want to tell you about a workshop that I'm going to be teaching this Sunday. So, in a couple days, this Sunday, I'm going to be teaching a live workshop called Plan Your September with Tarot. And this is where we'll sit down together on Zoom. We'll plan our month ahead. I'm going to show you my special process for doing that and incorporating the tarot and doing that. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to put the link in the chat if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, and then I'm gonna do some readings. I'm gonna pull some cards for anyone who wants a reading. So, hello, Black Widows, Black Widows bitch. Hello. Welcome. Hello, Kimberly. Stars Tarot. Hello. Heather, welcome. Greg is here. Hello, Greg from Reno, Nevada. Okay, Jessica Schrutegarg. Hello. Oh, you love my tarot learning videos. Thank you. All right. I think I got everyone. I don't think I missed anyone. Vibrant Liz. Hi, Vibrant Liz. I recognize so many of your names. It's so nice to see familiar faces, familiar people here on my live stream. Okay, so I want to tell you about the four new decks that I got. So I'll show you each one. So I've got the White Numen Tarot. And I went on a bit of a deck buying spree, which is something that I haven't done in a very long time. Like I want to say it's been years since I've done this. But I just did. I went on a deck buying spree. So I've got the White Numen Tarot. I've got the Wild Eden Tarot. And I've got the Lubanko Tarot. And then I've got a really silly fun tarot, Paws Tarot. So let me know in the comments if you have any of these decks or if you've heard of any of these decks. And I'm going to show you each one. And I won't spend too long babbling about the decks because I know a lot of you want me to draw a card. And I can't wait to get to the reading portion of this live. But I wanted to do a little bit of a show and tell here. Okay, so the White Numen Tarot has a really cool box. It's a box within a box, and I always appreciate this. I always appreciate a nice box, and so it like slides out. And then it comes with this guidebook, and it's hardcover. I was like, hardcover? I was like so shocked when I saw that, and it's in like full color and everything, and it's just like the coolest guidebook. Okay, so this is what the backs of the cards look like. I don't think I love the backs of the cards, to be honest. And I don't love the fact that this is a glossy deck. It's nice cardstock though, but I love this deck. Okay, so I'll just kind of go through it and show you some cards here. So when I first got this deck, I was like, I like the art, but I don't know how readable a deck this is going to be. Because to me, it just felt a lot of the cards were like, I don't know, kind of maybe lacking some of the symbolism that I usually look for. And then I started reading with this deck, and oh my gosh, I just feel like such a connection to these cards and the images. It's like the card figures were like speaking directly to me. It was really cool. So I've been using this deck just for my personal readings, and actually I did use it for one of my weekly readings. That's going to be posted in a couple of days. See, look at this. It's really cool. Ooh. Eight of Wands. See, this reminds me of sperm. I feel like that looks like sperm going to an egg. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. So that's the White Numen Tarot. And actually, does anyone want me to pull a card for them from this specific deck? If you do, just type yes, White Numen, and then if you have a question, let me know. And I'm going to shuffle my cards. I'm going to draw a card for someone. This deck is a little hard to shuffle just because the cardstock is so thick. I find that like I appreciate good quality cardstock, but it usually makes it a little trickier to shuffle. Okay. All right, so I'll do one for Black Widow's Bitch. I would love a card from the White Numen. Okay. All right. So the card for you, and actually I'll just put your thingy on the screen here. Five of Cups. All right. This is funny because this is the card that actually came up when I did my weekly reading for, I haven't posted it yet, but my weekly reading for next week, this was the card that came up for the beginning of the week. So it's funny that it's come up again. Okay, so Five of Cups. Five of Cups is saying it's okay if you feel disappointed by something, if something is not working out and you're kind of frustrated by that, it's okay to grieve that thing. You don't have to put a silver lining on it. You don't have to put a positive spin on something. You don't have to necessarily find the lesson in it or whatever. It's okay to just be disappointed in something and to just grieve something and let it go. The thing that draws me in with the Five of Cups is the stream of water coming out of the cup. So see, there's this long thing of water. And to me, that is a symbol of dumping something out, letting something go, releasing something. There's something that you're ready to release, and I think it's tied to something that you're disappointed in, something that didn't work out, that you're kind of holding on to some resentment around that. You might be blaming yourself or blaming someone else. Five of Cups is saying once you're able to like grieve that thing and let it go, you know what it feels like? It feels like there is something that it's almost like you're grieving what could have been. So you have an idea of what could have been, what could have been possible, but which didn't happen. And the need to like grieve that and let it go so that you can move forward and kind of unburden yourself, if that makes sense. Okay. Yes, and it is a beautiful Five of Cups, hey? It's really gorgeous. All right. And I'll draw one more from this deck. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do this one from Kimberly. What is the best way to create closer connections in friendship and family love this autumn? Ooh. Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles is all about patience. It's a card of patience. It's a card of taking your time and nurturing the things that you want to grow. So when it comes to creating closer connections, it's saying in order for a connection or a friendship to really flourish and become more fulfilling or more deeper, more connected, you need to nurture that friendship. And every relationship in your life is going to need a different kind of nurturing. So the thing that would really nurture a particular friendship might not be the same things that is going to work for a relationship with a family member or a different friend. So this is about kind of picking up on the nuances of, everyone has a different personality, everyone needs different things, and you connect with different people in different ways. And so thinking about, how can you nurture each relationship in your life? Like some friendships don't need a lot of nurturing, and other ones need a little bit more in a different way. So that's what I'm getting with Seven of Pentacles. And Seven of Pentacles says, be patient. Connection isn't an instant thing. This is something that, happens over time, slowly. So be patient and think about playing the long game. Okay. And there's a few questions here that I want to answer. How Wow, your tarot bookshelf collection is amazing. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot there. That's only some of my decks. I have decks all over my house. I've got this coffee table that has like little cubbies in it, and I've got decks kind of stuffed into there. I've got another bookshelf in my living room. I've got a bookshelf in my downstairs office area. So I've got tarot decks everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna draw one more card from this deck, and then I'm gonna move on to the next deck, and I want to talk about the next deck. Okay, I'm gonna do Jessica Scorpio. Could I please get a card that will help me stay grounded? And thank you, Meredith. I'm glad you like these live chats. I don't do these often enough. And I was looking at my YouTube analytics, and it looks like lives are the least popular. Like they don't get a lot of views, but I like doing them. They're really fun. Okay, so Jessica Scorpio, what is going to help you stay grounded? King of Cups. Ah, okay. So, King of Cups, this is an interesting card. I'm just looking at him, and there's fish flying past his head, and then there's all these little, like, phallic things popping up here, like, boing, boing, boing. Don't know what's going on there. Weird little things popping up under the water. Interesting symbolism. So King of Cups is all about making friends with your feelings, making friends with your emotions. Part of staying grounded is being able to connect with your feelings and when you have a strong feeling, an uncomfortable feeling, allowing it in, not blocking it out. So if you deny a particular emotion, or if you're like, I can't deal with this emotion, I got to stay grounded, that's actually going to kind of throw you off course a little bit. That's going to destabilize you. So the secret to staying grounded and stabilized is actually to make friends with your feelings and your emotions and allow them to be there without judging them, without trying to get rid of them or change them, simply just observing. That is going to help you um, with grounding. And now that I'm looking at this card, I'm seeing the fish fly past his head. Think of those yellow fish as being like different feelings and emotions that pop up. Sometimes they're unexpected. Other times you are expecting them, but maybe you're not expecting a particular emotion to be as strong as it is. And so it's kind of like when you're meditating and thoughts pop into your head and you just allow them to come in, you just observe and they kind of go on their way. Kind of treating feelings in a similar way. A feeling pops up, it comes through, you look at it, you observe, you let it go. That's kind of what I'm getting from King of Cups. Okay, so let's move on to the next deck. Oh, captivated reader, welcome. You said this is your first live stream. Nice. Well, thank you for stopping by. Okay. Next card, next deck is the Wild Eden Tarot. So this is by Gloria Pizzilli and Alice Mastroleo. And this is a deck, Lo Scarabeo is the publisher of this deck. And this is kind of I would call it kind of an erotic deck. Whoops. I don't think it's really advertised as that, but that's how I see it. It's kind of like a nature deck, I guess you could say. So the card backs look like this. I like these card backs. And I'll just show you a few of the cards here. So all the characters are naked on this deck. And I was really drawn to the art. I like the style. And this is a really cool deck. I haven't fully connected with this deck yet in actual readings. I've connected with the art. I love the artwork. But in doing readings for myself, I feel like maybe I have to clear the deck and do some kind of connection ritual because I feel like in my readings it hasn't been as helpful as I would have liked, but I really love the artwork. Yeah, and let me know in the comments what you think. Wild Sarah, you said gorgeous. Hello, Chris Lessine. Hello. Yeah, this one's cool. Yeah, there's something about the art that I'm just like, this really like this makes me feel alive when I look through these cards. I just think it's so beautiful, so gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle these cards, and if you would like me to draw you a card from this deck, let me know. Let me know if you have a specific question or if you just want a general reading. How many decks do I have? I don't know. I haven't counted, and I'm always getting rid of decks. I wouldn't call myself a deck collector in that I do get rid of decks. If there's a deck that I really don't use at all, I will gift it to someone. So I've gotten rid of a ton of Oracle and Tarot decks over the years. I don't think I've ever sold any. I just gift them to people who I think might like them. And if I really hate a deck, I'll just like donate it to the thrift store. But usually I gift them. Yeah, the color palette is gorgeous in this deck. Yeah, whimsical clean art style. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a card for, oh, let's see. I'm gonna read this comment by Chris. I'm working on connecting to trees, animals, and nature in general. Could you pull a card for me that may help me? Actually, I'll put this on the screen. Okay, could you pull a card for me that may help me to aid my connection? I don't feel I connect as much as I could. And you want the Wild Eden deck. Okay. All right, so Chris. Knight of Pentacles. All right. It's a naked guy riding a giant bug. Okay, so what I get from the Knight of Pentacles, he doesn't really look like he's necessarily moving slow on this card, but the Knight of Pentacles is all about slowing down and moving slowly. And this is a funny card to get for this question because I think of the Knight of Pentacles as being super grounded and just naturally connected to nature and the rhythms of nature. And Knight of Pentacles is saying, slow your roll, slow down. The more you slow things down, the easier it will be to connect with nature because nature's speed, if you will, is not that fast. It's slower. So if you're zooming around in your life and you're like, I got a million things to do, and you're like doing things really fast and you're busy, being in that state is going to disconnect you naturally because that's not the state nature is in. nature is never like when you think about animals and trees and insects, they're never busy, but they're always doing stuff. Like they're busy without being busy, if that makes sense. They're not trying to be busy. And I think humans are so different in a way from nature in that we have this weird busy energy. Um, and so I think slowing down is going to help you connect with nature and animals and plants and all of that. And even just like I started this ritual in the mornings. I haven't done it the last 2 mornings, but I intend to do it. Where I go outside and I take my yoga mat and I just do some like gentle yoga poses and breathing for like 10 or 20 minutes. And the whole intention of behind that is just to like slow my brain down at the start of the day in the hopes that I'll be able to carry that clarity and slowness throughout the rest of the day, that calmness, so that I can hook it and connect to it throughout the day, even when things get kind of hectic and busy. So maybe for you having some kind of ritual that you do at the beginning of your day or at lunchtime or something like that, or at the end of the day, but maybe doing like a couple like short things, maybe one thing in the morning, one thing in the evening, that just helps you like slow down. That's going to help you the most, more than anything. All right. And thank you for that question, Chris. Okay. Oh, so many comments. Thank you guys. I love this. Oh, and Chris, you said crazy that you pulled a bug card. I feel a strong connection to spiders and bugs in general. I feel empathy for them as they are often disregarded. Maybe another message here to honor this. Yeah, I like that. I like that symbol of the bug. Yeah, you'll be proud of me when I say that I've been making a special effort not to step on spiders this summer. I just don't think I've killed any spiders yet this summer, which is unusual for me. I have some pretty hideous spiders in my basement that live there, and I see them every time I go down. And there's one that like has a little nest under the what's that called? The not the floorboard, but the the trim at the bottom of the wall. There's like a little gap between that and the floor, and there's this spider that's like made this really elaborate nest. And whenever I go down in the basement, I see him sitting outside of his nest, and then he like deeks in when I walk by. I haven't killed him yet, and I don't plan to. I'm gonna let him live. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a card for. Hmm. There was one up here that I read, and I was like, ooh, this is good. I want to do this one. Okay, here it is. Okay, Heather. I would love a reading with the Wild Eden deck. I feel like something big is coming. Any insight? Okay. All right, so we have the Chariot. Ooh, and the Chariot is like something big. This is something big. So the Chariot is all about moving forward with certainty and speed and energy and fire, and really getting clear on what it is that you want, what direction you want to go in. Nothing's holding you back. This is a card of taking action and figuring out what direction you're going to go in. And it's not about necessarily like the Chariot. There's a lot of energy and passion behind the Chariot and this sense of direction and drive, but it isn't a logistical card. So it's not about having a plan and knowing every step of how you're going to get to where you want to go. That's not what the Chariot is about. The Chariot is about tapping into your inner fire and moving in a direction that you feel called to move in. So when the Chariot comes up, it's encouraging you to move forward with something. It's encouraging you also to get clarity on what you want to put your energy into, what direction you want to go in. And there's two tigers on this card. So the guy on this card, he has a knee on each tiger. He's riding both of them. And each tiger symbolizes a different aspect of his psyche or himself. So one tiger, I'm going to say the orange tiger is what he is conscious of. This is the conscious self, the conscious mind, what you say your goals are, what you say you're going to do, what you think you want. That is the orange tiger. And then we have the black and gray tiger. And I feel like this is more the part of you that is more subconscious, unconscious, part of the shadow self, the part of you that you maybe don't fully understand. This is your hidden motivations, desires, fears, even the parts of you that you aren't fully aware of, but that have a strong effect. And both of these tigers are going to take you along in the direction that you need to go. So I also feel like when the chariot comes up, it's an invitation to make friends with your subconscious mind, make friends with your unconscious self, and maybe even doing a little exploration into what your deep hidden desires, fears, motivations might be. Okay. I hope that made sense. But it does feel like something big is coming for you, so that does feel exciting. Okay, I'm going to do one more card with this deck, and then I'm going to move on to the next deck. Okay, I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm gonna do this one. Ananya, could you please pull a card for when I will gain a true and deep friendship? Okay. And I just want to say hi to, oh, and Heather, you said super spot on with what I've been getting. Thanks so much. You're welcome, Heather. I just want to say hello, I am Mimi. Mimi, you said you follow my weekly readings every week and you connect with the way I explain things and you love my cats. Oh, thank you. I love my cats too. Okay, so when will you gain a true and deep friendship? 10 of Pentacles. Okay, I don't know what this is trying to tell me here, so I'm gonna sit with this card for a minute. 10 of Pentacles, I feel like this is about building something. This is about building something. I do think the 10 of Pentacles is telling you to be patient. It's not giving me a specific timeline for when you'll find a deep friendship. But there's something here about family. I'm just going to show you the card. So it looks like it's a mom and a dad and two kids, and the kids are standing on their shoulders. It makes me think of lifting someone up, helping someone in some way. And I also connect this card to work and career. So I think that there's something here about the work that you do and focusing on helping others in some way, focusing on lifting others up and helping them. Maybe in the realm of career and work, I'm not sure. And it feels like that is kind of a route or a pathway to finding friendship, helping others. And again, it might be in the realm of like work. There's also something here about legacy. So when the 10 of Pentacles comes up, it asks you, what kind of a legacy do you want to leave behind? What is important to you? What are you all about? And it's almost like getting clear on those things. What's important to you? What are you all about? Do you have a life philosophy? What are you here to do? What are you here to create? What are you here to experience? What do you want to build? And there's some kind of relationship between doing that kind of inner work and asking yourself those questions and then meeting people that you're compatible with and connecting with them on a friendship level. Okay, so hopefully that sparked some things and gave you some ideas. Thank you so much for your question. All right, so I'm going to retire this deck for now. And I'm gonna show the next deck. So the next deck I want to show is the Lubanko Tarot. And actually this deck, Chris, who is here live, I think she's still here. Chris told me about this deck originally, and I don't think I'd ever heard of it. And so then I looked it up and it was on sale on Amazon. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this deck. And I really like this deck. And it's a very different deck than the kinds of decks that I'm usually drawn to. The guidebook is great, and the guidebook is like gorgeous. It's like full color. You see each card really big, which is helpful. And I kind of like wish that the cards themselves were this size. And yeah, each and I the thing I appreciate about this deck and this guidebook is that when you've been studying tarot for a long time, so I've been studying tarot for I guess 20 years now, maybe a little over 20 years even. And when you've been studying tarot that long, you sometimes gonna get stuck in a rut of seeing the cards in the same way. And I love it when a book makes me think about the cards differently. And that's what this book is doing. Okay, so this is what the card backs look like. Now the card stock on this deck is really flimsy and cheap. It's kind of crappy, but I don't mind it. It's kind of similar. I want to say it's similar to the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is another Llewellyn deck, but actually might even be a little thinner than the Everyday Witch Tarot. But it shuffles nicely, and it's got a nice kind of a matte finish, which I really like. So I'm just going to show you some images here. Okay. There's something like I really like the art, but there's something very raw about a lot of these cards. There's an aliveness to these cards that really jumps out at you when you're reading with this deck. And I haven't done a ton of readings with this deck. I did one for my channel a week or two ago. And I think I've done a couple readings for myself, and it reads well. This deck does read well, but I want to use it even more because I feel like this is a deck that I could really connect with. This is a creepy one. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm gonna pull a few cards from this deck. So if you want a reading with this deck, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you have a specific question. Oh, I love this Empress. It's really beautiful. Okay. So I'm just going to shuffle my cards. I'm just going to read a few comments here. So Captivated Reader, you said, I used your What Tarot Says About Your Age spread for myself and others, and it's great. Oh, good. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a fun one. What Tarot, yeah, so What Tarot Says About Your Age. I did a video and it's like a little exercise, and I think there's like a worksheet or something with it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Actually, I'll post it in the chat. Let's see. I think it's on my website. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay. Um, okay, let's see if I can share this. This is a fun one, actually. All right. Okay, so I am. So Kimberly, you're also in a tarot rut. Yeah, I often get into a tarot rut. Mm. Oh, thanks for staying up for my live, Ananya. Okay, I'm gonna draw a card for um let's see. Okay. I'm starting my new role on promotion in October. Will I succeed? How will it go? The Mystic Jar of Sauerkraut. Ooh. I make my own sauerkraut. I know how to do it. I've also made kimchi and fermented carrots. Haven't done it in a little while though. I should get back into it. I'm trying to build up my microbiome with fermented foods. Okay, so let's see what card you need to see here. Ooh. Okay, Eight of Swords. So this is a very super dramatic card. And I hope you don't mind. I kind of changed your question in my head. So you're asking like, will I succeed or how will it go? I hate asking predictive questions like what's going to happen. So I always kind of change it in my head. So I was like, what do you need to see? What's going to be most helpful to you in relation to this topic, this question for you? So Eight of Swords is the card that you need to see. So I'm just going to have a look at it. Eight of Swords is a card of feeling like you're kind of held back or prevented from expanding in the ways that you want to. So you might find that this is a challenge that you come up against when you step into this new role, that there's things that you want to do, but there's different things that are kind of blocking you and getting in the way. And so you might actually feel a little bit frustrated in the beginning. There will be a little bit of a learning curve, and you might have to find kind of creative ways for getting around the certain roadblocks. And I get the feeling like this is like, and I don't know if you're in a corporate job, but I feel like this is kind of like corporate stuff, like office politics and things like that, that can be frustrating to navigate. So it's that feeling of like stepping into this new role and you feeling like, oh, I got all these like creative ideas. I've got these new things that I want to try. I've got a vision for how I want to do things. And then you kind of come up against roadblocks and things that feel like you're kind of being limited, and you can't really expand in the ways that you'd planned on or that you'd wanted to. So that is valuable to kind of know that going in, that there may be certain, I want to say red tape, and actually there's a lot of red on this card. So I'm going to say like you might find that there's a lot of red tape, a lot of like policies and crap like that is just really frustrating. And then the other thing that stands out to me is how the character on this card is wearing a mask and is removing that mask. I almost find this card kind of a sexy card. I don't know if it's meant to be a sexy card, but that's how I see it. And this character has this mask on, and he's kind of like pushing the mask off. So there's something about I think being your genuine self, being authentic will be important for you. the thing I get is like you might be frustrated because the role itself might require you to wear a certain mask to like present yourself in a certain way and to there might be an element of this new job that requires you to or makes it difficult for you to be as authentic as you'd like to be. So that just might be a bit of a challenge. Okay, hopefully that was helpful and not too depressing. And thank you for your question. Oh, okay. And you said it's public sector, so red tape definitely sounds right. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Okay, that all makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, a public sector kind of job. Yeah. Okay. I want to draw another card for you because I feel like this card kind of like showed the challenges, but it's like I want to draw another card and just see what other card comes up. Like what will be helpful for you in that scenario? Ten of Cups. Okay. Nice. So your other card, so these are your two cards. Your other card is Ten of Cups. Okay. What I'm noticing is there's a deer or a stag at the top of this column. And it feels like there's an achievement here. There's some kind of achievement. Um, Ten of Cups is a great card to get. It's funny because it's depicted in a certain way in this deck. I think of Ten of Cups as being more of like a warm, fuzzy card about relationships and dreams coming true. And in a way, this card is about dreams coming true, and there's a sense of achievement. We see like this big cup at the top here. This deer is on this like pedestal. There's something about being on a pedestal. Um, yeah. I wish I could say something more helpful, more useful for you. It's a good card to get. I guess that's all I want to say. I was hoping the next card would be more encouraging. So it's like, yeah, there's going to be challenges. It's not going to be easy. Your new role, I don't think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but there's a lot of potential here. And 10 of Cups is kind of encouraging you. It's saying you have what it takes. Okay. I'm gonna draw a card for I'm gonna draw a card for Bollywood Vibin. I like that name. Okay. And when I'm pulling cards for people, when I'm doing these readings, I can only answer questions about you. So I can't tell you what someone else in your life is thinking or feeling or what their motivations are. I can only talk about you. Um, so just keep that in mind with your questions. Ask questions about yourself. I can't answer questions about other people. Okay, so first of all, thank you. I'm glad you like my readings, Bollywood vibin'. I've been in a quiet stage in my life, but I am struggling to focus on myself instead of feeling okay. I've been in a quiet stage in my life, but I am struggling to focus on myself instead of feeling the guilt of rest. What can I be mindful of to help me embrace rest? All right. Four of Wands. This is what you need to be mindful of to help you embrace rest. And I love how this card is depicted. It looks like there's like a little hideaway. It reminds me of this place that I stayed at years ago. It was a cabin in the woods on an island, and they had this sauna that they had built out of rocks into like the cliffside. So it was like this sauna in the cliff, and it kind of looked like this actually. It looked a lot like this. And it even looks like there's smoke coming out of here. So it's like this little hideaway, this little thing. What can I be mindful of to help me embrace rest? Okay, so there's a few things that I see with this card. It feels like going on a retreat where the sole focus is rest will be helpful for you. Now, if that isn't possible to go on a retreat, you can do a retreat at home. So you can pick a day and be like, okay, this day, this is my retreat day, and today is going to be all about rest. And can plan ahead for this. So plan, what do I want to do? What activities am I going to do or not do? And kind of prepare ahead. Maybe you want to like prep some meals ahead of time so you're not worried about meal prep. But really kind of plan out a day for yourself or a weekend where you're just resting and doing the activities that for you feel restful. So for me, that might be things like meditation, painting, reading. But for you, it might be different. It might be different things. So thinking about, what kinds of things like activities help you rest and rejuvenate, and what kinds of things definitely don't help you rest and rejuvenate, and try to avoid those things on this retreat day or this retreat weekend. So that's the first thing I get. The other thing I get is Four of Wands is about holding a space for something. And I'm going to explain this. So the Suit of Wands is the energy suit, and the fours are about kind of rest and stillness. So Four of Wands is what happens when the busyness of this energetic suit comes to rest. And so in that sense, the Four of Wands can symbolize, I like to think of like a fire that is contained in a fireplace. It's not out there, burning down a forest. It's contained in a fireplace. It's like that energy, but it's contained. And in that way, the Four of Wands is about holding a space for something. So think about, you're wanting to embrace rest. How can you hold a space for rest in your life? And Four of Wands encourages you to look at your living space. Does your living space support rest? And what kinds of changes can you make to your environment that would support you in getting the rest that you need? It could be certain colors that feel restful, pieces of art, having more pillows or something like that. Comfy blankets, whatever helps you get to that place. Okay. Um, yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna do a card for um oh, there's so many good ones here. I don't know who to choose. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Okay, so Maria. Hello, Maria. I know I've read for you before. You said you feel called out. I don't know what that's referring to, but it made me laugh. What aspect of myself, what aspect of myself am I neglecting that needs immediate attention? Okay. The world. Huh. All right. I'm gonna say your spiritual aspect. That was my first take. It's not so much an aspect of yourself that's being neglected. It's more an aspect of your life that's being neglected, or not neglected, but like not seen in its fullness. And when I look at the world, I think of my first instinct is your connection to all that is. So this idea that you're going through life and you are connected to things that you encounter in your day-to-day life, but then you're also connected to this like bigger picture, this bigger part of yourself. You're connected to the universe is another way of putting it. And acknowledging that connection, even if you don't always feel it, is going to be helpful for you. And the world is about integration. It's about integrating. I think of like integrating your spiritual side, your energetic self, your emotional self, your mental self, your physical self, and integrating those four aspects of life. Because as you're moving through your day, you're experiencing things on an emotional level, a mental, intellectual level, the level of mind, the level of heart, the level of energy and spirit, and also the physical level. And the physical level is usually the what we notice the most. Um, and so the world is about acknowledging that there's all these different selves, the physical, emotional, mental, etc. And being able to integrate that experience feels like what might be missing for you. And reminding yourself, I'm connected to something bigger, that is going to help you in that work in some way. Yeah, really cool card. Okay. Thank you for that question, Maria. I'm gonna do this one. Navina. Hi, Kate. Can you pull a card of advice for me in my current relationship? Okay. All right. The Chariot. Okay. So the Chariot, I'll just start with kind of a traditional take on this card, and then I'll get into the specifics of the symbolism that I'm seeing. So the Chariot is about moving forward. It's also about change. It is about change. And you said, can you pull a card of advice for me in my current relationship? Yeah. So there's something here about moving forward, creating change, even if that kind of shakes up the current status quo. And I'm just noticing as I'm looking at this card, it looks to me, and this is not what's on the card, but this is what I'm seeing on the card. Key difference. This is like a horse or some dragony horse creature, and there's two of them. But when I looked at this, it looked like I saw someone like sliding down a slide into something. Like it looks like someone with their arms up, just like sliding into something. And it made me think of like taking the plunge, like just doing something, just acting. So I think that, and it makes me think of like communication and just needing to say something that's on your mind. Get something off your chest, say something, and that's going to move things along. That's going to create change. Um, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I want to say. Something to keep in mind here is that, and this is the thing with relationships that makes them so tricky, is that we have our conscious self. So the part of us that's like, this is what I want from this relationship. I want to be able to connect with this person. I want to be able to communicate, etc. But then we have our darker side or our subconscious or unconscious side. And this is made up of our, subconscious or unconscious desires, fears, needs. And these come into play in a big way when it comes to relationships. So a lot of this unconscious stuff kind of gets stirred up and comes to the surface when we're in relationship with another person. And so this is about honoring that and knowing that being able to soothe that part of yourself can go a long way when it comes to having difficult discussions in relationships. So being able to soothe the part of yourself that is your kind of subconscious, unconscious fears, desires, etc. Um, does that make sense? Does that resonate? I'm curious. I keep thinking there's something else here that I want to say. Um, but the chariot is saying definitely don't just continue doing the same thing. The chariot is saying that change is needed here. In your current relationship, change is needed. And if there's something that you want to say or something you need to get off your chest, the chariot is saying, go ahead and do that. There's no value in keeping quiet. Yeah. Okay. And Ananya, you said it's so interesting how you interpret the cards for everyone. It really helps me learn. Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna do one more card from this deck, and then I'm gonna switch to the Paws Tarot, which is like kind of like the opposite of this deck in a way. It's like it's very different, has a very different vibe. Okay, good. I'm glad that that card resonated for you, Navina. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a card for Shrutegarg. My strength, which will help me to do better in life. Okay, so we'll draw a card that will represent a major strength, a superpower that you have that's going to help you right now. High Priestess. Ooh. Ooh, this card gives me chills. I love it. So the High Priestess as a strength. The High Priestess is all about your connection to the divine, your connection to your higher self, your intuition, the unseen realms. So every now and then, it's important to journey into the unseen realms to get advice and nourishment to bring back to your day-to-day life. This is what I do whenever I lie down to meditate for any length of time, is I intend to enter into this different realm. I leave the physical and I go on a journey into the energetic realms in the hopes that I will learn something valuable, I'll attain some sort of wisdom or knowledge that I can bring back to my life. Or what usually ends up happening is I don't get any wisdom or any knowledge, but I go to this other place, this other kind of energetic realm that just feels so nourishing and rejuvenating and calming. And I can bring some of that energy back into my life. And that's kind of what looking at the High Priestess makes me think. But in terms of your strength that will help you do better in life, tapping into your intuition and exploring your, I'm going to call it like your psychic senses, your psychic abilities. You know, we all have psychic abilities. And when you work to develop some of those abilities and work with some of those abilities, you wouldn't believe how much fun it can be and how helpful it can be when it comes to, you know, making decisions and deciding, you know, what to put your energy into. And even if you have a job that feels very unpsychic, you know, a very, maybe it's a job that's not really creative, not really intuitive, but you can tap into your intuition to help you with that job, with whatever role that you're in. You can tap into your intuitive psychic realms to help with relationships. Another technique for doing this is something that I have really been enjoying lately called channel writing. Or you could think of it as automatic writing, psychic journaling, where I will sit with my notebook and a pen and I'll just take a few breaths. I'll, you know, intend to kind of calm my mind a little bit. And then I'll ask a question. And I think of like posing this question. Sometimes I think I'm asking the universe, or sometimes I'm like asking my higher self or a spirit guide. And then I just free write without thinking, just kind of a stream of consciousness writing. And I always get the most interesting pieces of advice or ideas from doing that. And this card kind of represents that sort of a thing, like meditation, automatic writing, but exploring your intuitive realms is the thing that's going to help you do better in life. So that's in a nutshell the High Priestess. And you said my intuition is very spot on, but I have a habit of running away from the truth. Interesting. So it's kind of more, maybe the High Priestess is more about honoring your intuitive side, trusting it more, honoring it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put this deck back in its box and I'm gonna move on to the Paws Tarot. Thank you everyone for these great questions that you're asking. Okay, so this is the Pause Tarot, and this is more lighthearted and fun, but it's a very powerful deck. I really like it. And let the feline magic unfold. This is a very, very cute deck. And actually the guidebook is really fun. It comes with a little, it's pink. And I haven't really checked out the guidebook in any meaningful way, but it's got some good info in there. And really nice cardstock. It's got like gold edges, great cardstock, and very cute card backs. Okay. I'm just gonna actually just take a breath here and have some tea. While I have you here, captive audience, I'm going to just give a little bit of a plug to my upcoming workshop. So I'm going to be teaching a workshop this Sunday called Plan Your September. And I'm going to walk you through my monthly planning process using tarot cards. It's a lot of fun. You're going to come away with a solid plan for September and lots of motivation and inspiration. And I'm going to share the link if you want to check it out or sign up. Here is the link. I'm just going to post it right now. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to shuffle my deck here. And if anyone has any questions about my upcoming workshop, if you're interested in taking it, let me know. I'm open to answering any questions about it. Okay. I don't know about you, but I love to plan. I'm really into planning. I love bullet journaling. I like to sit down on a Sunday night and like plan my week ahead. I like to sit down at the beginning of a new month and like plan my month ahead. And it's funny because I love to plan, but I don't like sticking to a plan. So I do these elaborate plans for myself and I rarely ever actually stick to them. I always find a way to kind of break my own rules and like go against the grain of my own plan. But I find that just the act of planning is so helpful in setting intentions and figuring out like what you're going to prioritize. So I usually always end up achieving the things that I want to achieve, but just not in the way that I'd planned. But the act of planning is helpful, if that makes sense. Oh, and Kimberly, you said I just signed up. Kate has the most fun workshops. I'm looking forward to it. Yay! Thanks, Kimberly. I'm gonna put your comment on the screen. Okay. So you know what? Why don't I start by drawing a card from this deck for our month ahead? So I'm gonna do a collective reading. I should have done this at the very start, but I'm doing it now. So I'll show you what these cards look like. They're super cute. And I'm just gonna ask this deck, what do we need to know? What do we need to focus on in September? And this going through these cards for the first time made me laugh because some of them are just really silly and cute. I don't normally read with like cartoony decks, except I couldn't resist this one with with all the cats. Okay. So let's do a card for September. What do we need to focus on this month? How can we tap into the energies of the month ahead? Six of Pentacles. So it shows a guy, it looks like he's some sort of bank robber or something, and he's like broken into a vault and he's stolen a bunch of money and he's distributing it. It's like he's like a Robin Hood sort of figure. Which is fun. He's fun. Okay. Six of Pentacles is a card of generosity and giving and receiving. It's all about giving and receiving and balancing those things out. So September is a good time to look at, it's a good time to look at finances and look at where your money's going. What are you spending money on? Where is it going? And where is it coming from? And seeing if you can kind of achieve some sort of equilibrium, some kind of balance there. This is also about looking at how you give of yourself to others. Not necessarily in the form of money, but it could be in the form of time or energy or care. And thinking about how you give yourself to others, uh, how you share your generosity, and also how you receive that from others, and looking and seeing, is it out of balance? Do you feel like you're giving more than you receive or you're receiving more than you give? And seeing, is that imbalance a problem for you right now? Does it need to come back into balance in some way? So kind of looking at your relationship to giving versus receiving. Are you more comfortable with one than the other, etc.? So that's the card for September. You might find this month that you feel extra generous and that you really you're drawn to help others. And you may also notice that others are more generous with you. You might um, notice yourself getting free gifts, here and there, things like that. Okay. I'm going to answer this question from Jessie. I'm going to stay with my mother for a few nights. I do want to see her, but also feeling resistance to the visit. What can help me enjoy our time together? Okay. Two of Wands. Okay. So Two of Wands is what's going to help you enjoy your time together. Two of Wands is a card of pausing, pausing to contemplate. So I think before, and I don't know when you're going exactly. So I don't know if you're going tomorrow or a week from now, or a month from now, but taking time to pause and think, what do you want from this visit? What is your intention? What are you most wanting from this visit? Is it just to spend quality time? Um, Maybe it's to help your mom with something specific, but kind of thinking about that. I think of like the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is about pausing to contemplate what you want to put your energy into. And so when it comes to this visit, already you know, okay, you're going for the visit, you're going to be putting your energy into this visit, but what is your intention? What are you going to be putting your energy into once you're there? And kind of getting clear on that might be helpful for you. I also feel like mm, there's something here about perspective as well. So the little cat is holding the world in its hand. And to me, that is saying, you know, there's a lot that's possible here. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of it makes me think of that saying, the world is your oyster. Um, so you have a lot of control, even though when you're spending time with someone else, you can't control what they do. There's a lot that's out of your control, but there's a lot within your control as well, in terms of what you're focusing your energy on. So Two of Wands is saying if you get really intentional about how you're going to focus your energy for this trip, what is important to you, that's going to be really helpful for you. Yeah. Okay. I hope you have a good time with your mom. Oh, and Maria, you said, do you, I'm just gonna put your, let's see. Maria, you said, do you still have the Hip Chick Tarot? I do. I do have the Hip Chick Tarot. It's on my bookshelf. If you ever fancy reading with it, I would appreciate it. I never bought it because it's quite expensive for my budget. Yeah, I do have the Hip Chick Tarot, and that's a really cute deck. Um, I'm not going to get it out today, but in future, I will. Maria. It is a nice deck. Actually it kind of reminds me. This deck is kind of reminding me of that deck actually. All right. Okay, Simi, I'm going to answer your question because you have asked a few times about your love life. So I'm gonna answer your question. Guidance for my love life. How can I make my love life better? Okay, Simi, you got Four of Wands. Ooh. Sometimes Four of Wands actually shows a wedding. So this is kind of a cool card to get for your love life. Um, Now we've had Four of Wands for someone else in a different deck, but I don't think it was a relationship question. So the Four of Wands, when it comes to love and relationship, the Four of Wands is a very peaceful card, and it is a card of connection and harmony. And I know one of your other questions earlier was what's in store for my love life. So this is a really nice card to get. If you're single and you're looking for connection, which I think you are, I'm not sure. Um, now, that's kind of the vibe I got from some of your other questions that I spotted. Four of Wands is about connecting to your community. And I think that if you are spending time in a community, connecting with community, whether it's like your community where you live or a community for like a special interest or a hobby or something, that is going to help you meet people that are going to be compatible. That's the first thing I get. This is about stepping outside, interacting with people face to face. Oh, and you said I'm already in a relationship. Okay, thanks for clarifying. Okay, so you're already in a relationship, and you want to make your love life better. Okay, so Four of Wands. I mean, this shows two little cats with flowers. And what I'm noticing though is they seem happy and they seem content, but they're not touching each other. They're standing side by side, but they're not looking at each other. They're not touching each other, but they seem happy and content. So I don't know if this sort of reflects where you're at in your love life and you want to know what's in store for your love life. So a card like the Four of Wands, like I said, sometimes this card will show people getting married. It can be a card of like commitment. To me, it's like what happens when you get into a relationship with someone, and maybe in the beginning it's very passionate and very exciting, and then that passion and excitement kind of dies down, but it dies down in a nice way so that it feels like you have a good friendship with this person. There is like warm, fuzzy feelings. You feel connected with them on an emotional level. So in terms of what's in store, the Four of Wands can indicate deepening your connection and maybe even making commitments with this person if that is something that is appealing. And you said right now we're both very content within ourselves. Yeah, and that's kind of what I see with this card is that you're content with things. It might not feel super exciting and passionate, but it feels good. It feels good. So further deepening of that relationship and maybe committing with this person or even celebrating an upcoming anniversary or something like that is all in the realm of possibility. This is a very nice card to get when you're asking about a relationship. Um, yeah, how can you make it better? I don't know. I think bringing in celebration, because the Four of Wands is also about celebration. Bringing in that energy of celebration to your relationship, like having maybe a date night every week, like on a Friday or something, and kind of planning for that so it feels like a little mini celebration of your relationship. Things like that, I think, can help make your love life better. Okay, so thank you, Simi, for your question. And I think I'm just going to do a couple more readings and then I'm going to call it a day because I'm starting to notice that I'm getting a little tired. I don't have a lot of stamina when it comes to doing readings. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card for Hmm. Let me know if you want me to pull a card from this cat deck for you, and if you have a specific question. Oh, actually, this is a good question. Out of curiosity, can you get serious messages out of funny, silly decks? Yeah, you absolutely can. I do find this deck to be pretty easy to get messages from. I don't feel like it really makes a difference. I have kind of, fun decks, silly decks, more serious decks, and I find that the readings are helpful either way. But it would depend on you, the reader, because some people just connect more to a fun deck or connect more to a serious deck or a deck that's like very beautiful. So it does just depend um, on you, the reader, and what your tastes are. Okay. Okay, so last, I'm gonna do two more cards and then I'm gonna call it quits. Okay. Um, all right. I have a question. I've currently been laid off, but I feel like I need a break to recharge before I look for a job. Is that aligned? Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, that's aligned. Okay, I rarely answer a question like that, but yeah. So this little cat, he's tending to his garden and he's got his shovel, but he's leaning on it. He's taking a break. He's been busy, busy, busy tending to his garden, and now he's just stopping. He's leaning on his shovel and he's just looking at all his hard work. So yeah, it is aligned. You've currently been laid off and you feel like you need a break to recharge before you look for another job. That actually feels like it is aligned. That's totally what we see this cat doing on this card. So yeah. And I think also the Seven of Pentacles is also about being patient with yourself. It's about being patient. Um, it's about nurturing the things that you want to grow in your life as well. But yeah, it definitely feels like, you need a break, take a break. Okay. That was very straightforward. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card for, let's see, Greg. Oh, whoops, I put the wrong one. Um, where did Greg go? Greg. Okay, I'd love to have a bit of general advice from the cat deck. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the last card I'm gonna draw. So Greg, I've saved the best to last. All right. Okay, Greg, so you got the Two of Cups. This is a fun one to get. I was thinking, oh, I hope he doesn't get like a really depressing card like the Ten of Swords for the last reading. So we're ending on a positive note here. We've got the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is all about connection, relationships, friendship, companionship, connecting with another person. And and I'm just laughing because we see these two cats and they're having tea and cake. And then there's this other cat who looks so bored. He's like, "Oh, I'm so bored with this." It's almost like he's like kind of disgusted with their connection, which is funny. So in terms of general advice, the Two of Cups is all about prioritizing relationships and prioritizing enjoyment and pleasure in your relationship, but enjoyment and pleasure in the kind of day-to-day stuff, like creating little fun rituals to do every day that you enjoy with your partner, like having a tea time or a coffee time, or some people like cooking together. I always fight with my husband when we cook together. Um, but things like that, the little rituals in your day that you can turn into a pleasure ritual and make it really fun, make it enjoyable. There's something a little bit decadent about this card. They're eating their cake, they're having their tea, they're licking the cups. It's really cute. Um, and then there's a green snake hiding. Green snake. And to me, the snake looks friendly. It looks fun. It doesn't look like a scary snake. And the snake is actually a powerful symbol of rebirth and renewal. There is something that happens. You really renew your energy and your spirit when you make these little pleasure rituals a part of your day and a part of your relationship. So that is what the Two of Cups is all about. Prioritizing connection, prioritizing pleasure, prioritizing uh, pleasure in the day to day. So you don't have to go out there and do something grand and do something big in order to enjoy yourself. It's about kind of taking pleasure in the day to day. So I think that is the perfect note to finish on. Um, so thank you, Greg, for that question. And I just want to wrap things up. Oh, hi, Danica. Hey. I just want to wrap things up by saying thank you, everyone, for being here live. And thank you so much for your questions. And if I didn't answer your question, I didn't pull a card for you, I apologize. Please come to my next live and I'll pull a card for you then, hopefully. I don't know when my next live will be, but hopefully not too long. So yeah, so if anyone is wanting to hang out with me this weekend, I'm going to be doing a live workshop called Plan Your September with Tarot, and I'll just put the link in the chat if you want to sign up. The cost is $33 and it's an hour-and-a-half workshop, and I'm going to walk you through my process for planning my month ahead using intuition and tarot cards. You'll come away with a solid plan for September. You'll have some fun tarot planning worksheets that you can then use for the next month and the next month after that if you want. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I hope I see you there. And just seeing if there's any questions here. Nope. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye now. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.